Hey everyone, here's a short video on some geometry terms and symbols. First one is angle. So an angle is formed when you have a couple of lines like this. So we can have little angles, we can have really huge angles, and the symbol for angle is this, just a little angle symbol. And we call it by its letters that form it. So ABC, we call this angle ABC. This angle we call QRS. So that's an angle. Now the measure of an angle is how many degrees it is. So for example, if this one in our angle so this one right here, ABC, let's say this is 30 degrees, then we have this little m, the measure of angle ABC is equal to 30 degrees. Now congruent means the same as, and the symbol for that is an equal sign with a wiggly. So if I have this angle, ABC, that's 30, and I have this angle over here, QRS, that's also 30, then I can say angle ABC is congruent to angle QRS. So congruent is basically like equals, but it means the two shapes would line up exactly on top of each other without any overlap. Okay, line. If I have something like this, and it keeps on going forever and ever and ever, this is A, this is B, we're gonna call this line AB. And the way we write that is this, AB with a line with two arrows going both ways. Now let's say I'm only going in one direction. Let's say this is O and M. We call this ray OM. Think of it as a ray of sunshine. It starts at the sun and it goes forever in one direction. Now a line segment is just a piece of a line. Let's say I only want to talk about the portion from O to M, beginning at O and starting at M, and we call this OM with a line over it. Now the measure of a line segment is how long it is. Let's say the distance from O to M is 6 centimeters. Then here we write OM equals 6. Now you notice I didn't put a line over it. If you don't have a line over it, then you're talking about the distance. So the distance from O to M is just OM with no line over it. Okay, midpoint. A midpoint is the point exactly in the middle. And let's give you an example. Let me draw something like this. And we have a point in the middle. Now, how do I know that Y is exactly between X and Z? We don't know from the picture, but the way you'll usually see this in a drawing is with tick marks. So you might have 2 ticks or 3 ticks, it doesn't matter, as long as this is the same as this. As long as you see the same symbol, then you know that XY is equal to YZ. That means the distance from X to Y is the same as the distance from Y to Z, and that means that Y is the midpoint. So Y is the midpoint because it cuts it into 2 equal segments. Okay, next idea is this, parallel. So 2 lines are parallel if they lie along the same plane and they never touch. So these guys are going on forever, and no matter how far they go, they'll never touch. Usually in geometry, we indicate this with a couple of arrows. Those arrows say those lines are parallel. These lines are also parallel. The little arrow says they're parallel. Now, next one is perpendicular. Perpendicular are lines that cross at a 90-degree angle, and the way you'll usually see this in a diagram is like this. Going back, actually, talking about parallel, the way we write this is this. Let's say this is A, and this is B, and this is C, and this is D. The way we write this in symbols is this. We would say AB is parallel to CD. Now let's do this with this guy right here. Let's call this one H, and we'll call that I, and we'll call that J, and we'll call that K. So here we'd say HI is perpendicular to JK. And in the diagram, you'll indicate that with this little square in the corner. That square means they cross at a 90-degree angle. Okay, almost done. Two more. Bisector. A bisector means it cuts in half. Not just any half, it cuts exactly in half. So a bisector cuts something exactly in half. Let's give an example of this. A bisector is, let's say we have this line from H to J. Right in between, this guy we'll call that K, and a bisector is some line. We can say that line bisects HJ. It cuts it into two equal segments. Often we'll see the perpendicular bisector, which would look like this. So we call this line MI. MI is the perpendicular bisector of HJ. It cuts it into half, and it's also perpendicular to HJ. And finally, the symbol for triangle is really easy. It just looks like a triangle. So if I have some figure like this, and this is X, and this is Y, and this is Z, then I can define that triangle as triangle XYZ, which is the same exact triangle as triangle YZX. The order doesn't matter when you name the triangle. Okay, that's it for some vocab for geometry.